Republican Representative Liz Cheney is really becoming a thorn in the side of the wing of the party that has really given this serious pledge of allegiance to Donald Trump, especially with her work on this January 6th Select Committee. So with that work, they really have a serious urgency to make sure they really oust her from the party. We know how they've already taken away a leadership position, and of course, primary opponents have been put towards her. So enter House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy to help out with this. Now, potentially to help out with this, let's go to the story straight from the New York Times about how he's doing this. So there's a prominent Washington lobbyist close to Kevin McCarthy, the House Minority Leader, as I mentioned, and he's warning Republican political consultants that they must choose between working for Representative Liz Cheney or Mr. McCarthy. This is an ultimatum that marks a full rupture between these two House Republicans. It goes on to say that Jeff Miller is that lobbyist's name, and he's a confidant of Mr. McCarthy dating back to the youthful days in California politics. He has conveyed this us or her message to Republican strategists in recent weeks. So in response to these ultimatums that he's tossing around, there's already been one group that has responded. So the Morning Group is a fundraising firm that Liz Cheney hired to help prepare her for a primary next year against a challenger endorsed by the former guy, President Donald Trump. They informed her last month that they could no longer work on her campaign. That's according to Republicans familiar with that particular matter. So a principal at the Morning Group, Mackenzie Jordan Dolan, declined to comment on the firm's decision to drop Ms. Cheney. As of mid-September, Ms. Dolan was still working for the Congresswoman, emailing Republican donors to promote a fundraiser Ms. Cheney held in Dallas on Monday with former President George W. Bush. So they were all in. So this group, Morning Group, was all in, even as of mid-September, so about a month ago. They were all in and down and working with her primary, her potential primary fight that she's got going on with the opponent that Donald Trump put forward. But suddenly they pulled the plug. One more point before we jump into more of this. She's just not undermining Kevin, but the whole GOP conference, is what Mr. Miller said of Ms. Cheney. You're either with Kevin and the conference or the person undermining them. And this is the line that's my favorite one. You can't serve two masters, is what they're now saying. So just that line there, the reason why I point out that particular line about you can't serve two masters, this is a representative of the United States, and she was elected by constituents in Wyoming on the Republican side. She's with the party, but there's apparently two masters, quote unquote masters within the party. Neither one of those masters are her constituents. Neither one of those masters are people that voted her in. The masters apparently are either the Republican Party, well, specifically, I guess in this case, Kevin McCarthy, or the Select Committee that's looking to get to the bottom of the situations that happened, who was a part of planning and preparing for January 6th. And apparently the master has to be answered for. And again, a good buddy of Kevin McCarthy is that guy. First of all, before we go to further deeps, I want to get what you guys just think about this plan itself to undercut her, because they've tried other things and now this is the latest. Is this gonna work out?
I don't know. I mean, I think Liz Cheney obviously has got pretty strong name recognition. She's liked, in her area. Sorry, I got dogs going off in the background, but I don't think she's in that much trouble, to be honest with you, in Wyoming. Things could change obviously over the next year. But I think with her record as a staunch conservative, I don't think they're gonna turn on her just because she disagrees with the party on this one issue. Now I could be totally wrong about that. But I think for now she's okay. But I do think that could change. I just don't know if it will change.
You're talking with voters. You're not necessarily saying like with the party itself appears to have made their decision.
Oh yeah. The Republican Party, like they're gone. That is absolutely Trump's party now. And I think as time goes on too, if Liz Cheney is to stay an elected official, she's either gonna drift that way. I don't see the party drifting back towards Liz Cheney. So she's gonna have a come to Jesus meeting with herself. Like, what am I? Am I still this? I vote with them all the time, except of course on this one particular issue. I'm not abandoning warmongering. I'm not gonna suddenly wake up and support the Build Back Better Act. I still go with all these people. So maybe once Trump's gone, she'll lurch a little forward, further to the right and be with the rest of them on every other issue as well.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy to me that this story kind of paints Liz Cheney in a bit of a sympathetic light. Just for the record, I could never feel bad for the spawn of dick warmongering war criminal Cheney. Like, that's just never gonna be my stance. However, I think it's fascinating that this is the type of issue that the party establishment circles the wagons for. You go against Donald Trump, we go against you. That's why whenever we hear terms like Trumpism, it's a crock of nonsense, right? There is no separation between Republican Party orthodoxy and the 45th president of the United States. I just think it's fascinating that, I think of other politicians saying like racist stuff, like Europeans are the only ones who ever contributed to civilization. Or I think of other politicians aligning themselves with a group who thought Hillary Clinton was running a child sex ring out of a pizza shop. Like, that gets you nothing. Like, you're fine in the Republican Party when you espouse those thoughts and those views, but you go against Donald Trump and you're cooked.
This is and that's become the main, I guess, agenda item, principle of the Republican Party is, have you crossed Donald Trump lately? I mean, her and Adam Kinzinger are the two that are on the committee that are being targeted the most here. But so this new strategy though, but no, this has gotten serious. There's the point where they try to sway public opinion. You go on TV, you go on Fox News, you maybe even go to some campaign event where Trump is speaking and make sure you toss out Liz Cheney's name as one of those rhinos that's just not doing the right thing. But as you point out, Farron, this is just another Republican. So where's the feel sorry for? Now, Jamie Raskin, we're gonna talk about a story later where those two were involved in a bit of an altercation. And Democrats like Jamie Raskin get to a point where they're starting to defend her. Not even start to, this isn't a start. They've been defending her, and as more and more of these things come out, when you have, it looks like they're trying to cut out her legs from under her for an opportunity to even run this re-election campaign in an effective way, not just trying to damage her in the public eye, but damage her with her actual ways of running for office again. This has gotten serious. So I'm not sure if this is prompted directly from President Trump, former President Trump, or if this is them really trying to get some attention. Hey, I'm still with you, guy. But man, it's a level of seriousness that I don't see Democrats ever doing. There's battles within the Democratic Party right now over the spending bill and things they're trying to get done. But nobody's starting to try to take out their funding arm or the consultants that can work with them. It's serious now.
Well, maybe the Democrats ought to do that. Would that be such a bad thing if they said, hey, if you're gonna work with Sinema or Manchin, you're not gonna work with anybody else in the party. We're gonna cut you off. Maybe that is the route to go. Maybe that's how Republicans are basically able to get everybody in line. And it's a horrible line that they're in, don't get me wrong, but there is no room for dissent. And it does drive me crazy, as you talked about these Democrats that are defending Liz Cheney, praising Liz Cheney at times. She's not a good human being. Like, nothing about her is good. She did one good thing, which was to admit the truth that, hey, what Donald Trump did on January 6th, what happened there was terrifying and horrifying and damaging to our country. She tells the truth one time and she gets heralded as some kind of hero. And then she proceeds to vote against every good thing the Democrats have done, which included the stimulus package earlier this year. She couldn't even bring herself to support that. So
I don't think she supported. She didn't support the reconciliation bill. Of course, no Republican is going to support that. She's not supporting the things that are going to help American people. She's still very staunchly within the Republican Party. So if or when she runs for the Senate or president, whatever the hell is in her future, she's the same person. And we're gonna launder her reputation here over this, because the Republicans are attacking her so hard. And maybe for the time being, I'm not against admitting or acknowledging when a Republican does something right. It's like, so I'm sure people may watch and think, oh, these guys just no matter what she does, they're gonna criticize her. So I don't think it looks like that. But there's a degree where you can say, I'm glad Liz Cheney is working with this, and she's the Republican representatives here that's working on this committee. But that doesn't mean you have to say, oh my God, she's virtuous and she's done all these things right, and I can't believe the party is actually trying to get rid of her because she's not really Republican. She's totally a Republican. Just Trump is a different kind of guy.
Nobody believes in the myth of quote unquote good Republicans more than Democrats. Nobody, I promise you. Like at every opportunity, they just so desperately want to have respectable, good quote unquote Republicans. It's stupid. And I think, it should be noted that she's a House member, whereas Manchin and Sinema are Senate members. And there's something about the Senate where they do treat it like this club, right? They're all very chummy with each other, all backslappy, lovey-dovey with each other. It's the weird thing that they do in the Senate. But yeah, I would love to see Democratic Party attack dogs sicked on the people who allow Joe Manchin to, basically obstruct the president of the United States agenda. That would be a dream, but that's, we're not gonna get Democrats to, sort of roll their sleeves up and get in the mud and get their hands dirty. That's not what Democrats do.
And as he does it, as we saw Kevin McCarthy here, again, this is one of his best buddies from way back in the day. I mean, there's no comment from his group. There's no comment from I think from Jeff Miller's group, I believe his name is. So it's happening right in front of you, and they don't even necessarily have to acknowledge it. They're like, hey, this is just what's gonna happen. These are the things they don't want to come out to look a certain way, potentially they're worried about, but they'll still do it. One more point about this before we go to this break really fast. So he has some connections, Jeff Miller here, this lobbyist who's working to make sure she's not on. Let's go to this last graphic here. So the lobbyist declined to discuss his communications with the party, as I just pointed out, or to say if Mr. McCarthy had prompted him to issue this ultimatum. Mr. Miller, whose clients include Amazon and the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, does not work for the leader and is not paid by him. However, they are the closest of friends, again, and they have that working relationship that has gone way back to the days in California. So he's got a bit of a Rolodex of people that he has that he can lob around and be like, anybody goes against me and whoever else I'm working with and working for and helping out in this case, you gotta deal with me potentially telling my folks that I have some level of influence on, that they're not gonna work with you anymore.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.